Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today, we have
the voice of an angel.
Viv Sparro is in the house. And I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. We're going to kick off with a track that is going to blow your nuts off. Are you ready? Let's do it.
Il suo mister come mai finì? Ahimè un giorno lo studente in bocca alla bacio e fu quel bacio rivelazione, fu la passione.
Wow. Every time I hear that, that is what singing is about. That is how you move people. Absolutely incredible stuff. I've made it my mission now. Every morning, I get up and I listen to that first thing in the morning to start my day. Because I want to hear that every day when I get up to be reminded that this world, for all its shortcomings, allows us to have beauty like that. So we have Viv Sparro on the show, and she's waiting in the green room right now, and I'm so super excited. I hope you all are too. Thank you all for being here. I see there's a crap ton of you, heaps of you, so thank you all for being here. As usual, I will do the shout-outs a little bit into the show because we want to get down and dirty and get into it. But first, as you can see above, today's show is a sponsored show by our friends at DistroKid. So, did you know that you can release your music through DistroKid and have it available across all of the amazing streaming services like Spotify and Amazon and Apple Music, and there's even places you've never even heard of that are streaming your music right now, and there's somebody out there in this world clicking it and listening to it and going, I like that, it's really good. And you can have that experience, maybe not being in the same room as that weirdo listening to your music, but you can have that experience by signing up with DistroKid. And there's 3 amazing plans that you can sign up to. There is the Musician, which costs you $1.92 a month to have your stuff rubbing shoulders with artists like Madonna and Billie Eilish and so many more. You can be up there with them all just by spending $22.99 annually for as many releases as you like. Albums, singles, EPs, you name it, you do it. It's all up to you. It's all great, yeah? So you get on YouTube Music as well. There's also another plan called Musicians Plus, which is $39.99 billed annually, and an ultimate one, which gives you 5 artists, man. 5 artists that you can make up to your own, whatever you like, and put those out there for $89.99 a year. But if you sign up to DistroKid using that link over there in the corner, distrokid.com/VIP/Jade Starr, you will get 7% off your first year. I've been releasing all of my music through DistroKid, and here it all is here. So many albums. I've been with them since 2015, I think it is, even before they got on and have supported this channel. I want to thank them for supporting the channel. We'll talk a little bit more about them later on. So folks of you who normally get ads served up, you may have gone at the start of the show, but there will be no other YouTube ads during this stream because DistroKid have paid for that privilege. Yes, indeed. And as I always say on this show, when DistroKid sponsor, let me just click this and do the right thing. I love you, DistroKid. I love you. Okay, so I hope the CEO didn't see that. Anyway, are you ready, guys? Let's bring her on. Let's bring on the person you've been waiting for. We've been putting together this interview for a long time. And, you know, the stars finally aligned this week. So, without further ado, let's bring her on, the beautiful voice and wonderful soul of Ms. Viv Sparro. Hello.
Hey, Jade. Hey, everybody.
Let me give you some applause. How you going?
my heart rate it's slightly below panic, so that's a good place for it to be.
Perfect. That means
calm down quite a bit.
That means it's going to be a perfect show. That's what it's all about. Thank
you so much for having me here today.
Thank you for coming on and spending some time with us and, you know, talking about yourself, because it's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
You know, people think that because you're a musician and maybe you've studied a lot and you're good at your craft, that it's an easy thing to get up here and just talk about yourself. Do you struggle with that?
Absolutely. I think it was the major roadblock to getting here right now was the idea of having to talk about myself and just getting over that hurdle of, you know, it's going to be okay. But I'm so glad to be here, and I'm just so glad that what happened was Jade Starr was like, it's time. And so when Jade says it's time, you know, that's when you know.
It's time.
So.
In your time of being a musician and performing, and look, I just want to say to you, you heard my words at the start. That song, I mean, that's next level. That's up. That's, you know, that's an incredible level of skill there. Have there been ways for you not only like being able to, you know, talk about yourself away from performing, coping mechanisms to calm yourself down, things like that? These are two-pronged questions for like performing and for this kind of thing. Are there things that you try and do beforehand to reel it in?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually been quite a journey. I would say the past few months since sort of coming into this community, it's sort of all aligned. Lots of yoga. I've found that my emotions tend to go right to the voice. And so when I get nervous, I mean, you can probably hear it now, it goes right to the voice, so which is not the greatest for having to speak about oneself and speak publicly. But I find that emotions get sort of trapped in the body. And so when you can release that with remembering to breathe and moving your body, that can be really helpful with voice production. But it's also really interesting because I've studied voice for so long. So you'd think, well, how could this problem happen if you've studied for so long and it's become such a part of you? But the brain is a very powerful trickster, and it can make you do things like forget to breathe when you speak, or so yes, I'm not sure if I've completely answered your question, but
however you answer it is the correct answer, my friend. Here we are as singers, and I'm sure you've been through similar kind of lessons as myself, and I've been to college and stuff, and singing, and they taught me circular breathing, and I was like, this is great, but I don't play a trumpet. Right. Because a lot of people ask this kind of stuff. They say, do I need to circular breathe to be a good singer? And I'm like, it depends on what you're singing, really. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, which is funny for me, because singing is actually a lot easier than speaking.
Right. Yeah.
Like speaking in public, I find I can sort of relax more into myself and into my instrument. So yes, breathing is super important, and pacing yourself when you speak. But for me, it's been more about the emotional journey, I think, than the actual technical side of it. Because technically, like, you take me off the screen and I'm fine. I can, I can talk to anybody. Like, but it's that red light fright, right? It's that panic of like, okay, this is going to be captured. This is now. This is so. For me, it's been less about the physical and more about the emotional and the training of the mind to sort of just relax into the moment and let go and just trust. So, and with singing, it's a bit easier because you've got the song, you know what you're going to sing, so it's there. You don't have to think about it. Yeah,
you have the rule book in front of you. The brain, it's an amazing thing, isn't it?
Yes.
At the best of times, it helps us create the most beautiful things in life. But for many of us, the brain is a hurdle that we have to try and kick over every day because it's constantly getting in our way and going, I don't think so. Maybe you are a loser. And it's like, do you have, like, I talked about this in one of my shows recently, that I like to talk out loud in my house by myself and have these idiotic conversations with thin air. Because if I keep
for the voice,
if I keep the minute stuff in, like, I got to do the dishes today, if I keep that in my head, it gets stuck in with the other shit that's in there telling me I'm a loser.
Definitely. And I mean, I think we did the word that you just used, stuck. I think that's a big part of things, to just, like, the idea that, like, you can't clamp down on yourself. Come back, Jade. I like talking when you're here. Where are you?
All right. I'm here. I'm here.
But this idea of just talking to yourself and letting it come out and letting it go. I mean, I think that's brilliant. Like, as a vocal sort of exercise. Yeah. So yes.
The brain. I've got a song about the brain. It's called Me and My Brain, and it's about the war with me and my brain and how I hate my brain. But without it, I'd be The Walking Dead. Since most of the time I feel like The Walking Dead anyway. I just want to quickly thank Ali and I think it was 15th Ben for kind super chats. Thank you very much, you two lovely human beings. I'm going to hit you with the deep stuff now. You ready?
Yes.
Viv Sparro, what does music mean to you?
Music is the highest form of connection, communication, healing, self-exploration. I mean, I would say for me, music has always sort of mirrored my inner self. You know, the exploration of the tangled heart, this crazy landscape of everything that's inside of us, and it has changed, you know, and just to tie it back to something we were just talking about, this I feel the sort of I think as you get older, sometimes your brain works even harder to trick you. I feel like when I was younger, music was just careless abandon. It was freedom. It was effortless. You know, like you can even, and I think we have some tracks from when I was young, and you can see it. Like it's just like, you know, you just open your mouth and you sing to the wall, and it's just like, blah. So music evolves with you and within you, and it changes as you change, and it's just a constant exploration and a journey of who you are and your connections to people. And I've also seen it do just miraculous things in terms of healing, and I use it as a therapeutic tool when I perform. You can see it's like terrifying to talk about myself. I don't know if you can hear it, but
it's good. Embrace the terror, my darling.
Yes. And that actually is what I'm trying to do is and that's you know, music is pushing yourself. It's being out of your comfort zone. It's letting it heal you in the ways that it knows how to heal you, that you don't know how to heal yourself. And that's what it's always been for me. It's been a tool of therapy, whether it's that I'm giving to somebody else or that I'm, you know, giving to myself. So it's everything. Yeah.
There's 40 souls in here typing stuff like, you got this, you rock. You got 40 people glued to every word you're saying right now. I agree. When we're younger, and I was exactly this, just rock and roll or music, it was like just living on the edge. You could do whatever the hell you wanted. There was no repercussions, it seemed. And for me, especially, I lived by that. I opened my mouth all the time, way too much in between songs, and often got punched for it. You know, and I opened my mouth too many times and put too many drugs in it because there was no tomorrow. But as you get
oh God, I just cut you off.
No,
that's another
cut me off. This is your show.
Is that when we were younger, there was no YouTube. There was no, so you weren't being captured like eternally forever. Yeah. So there was this like the shows, whether it was just pure, you know, crap or it was brilliant, chances are it wouldn't have been captured anyway. So it just kind of it took the pressure off in a sense to just go with it and be what you were in the moment. So it's interesting how music has changed in that way too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you also to Frank Terzo, Mr. Smith for super stuff. Yeah, we did. God, if social media was around back when I was a kid, I would have been cancelled at 15. You know, I always dreaded seeing the local newspaper put me in a story, and I'd be like, oh no, look, they've put in the story that I cut my arm open on stage with a machete. Damn, well, that's not going to work, is it? But these days, you have to watch everything you say. Everything is under scrutiny, and there's always somebody sitting there waiting in the wings to snipe you and leave some comment for no reason, and that just throws more pressure on top when you're just trying to make some music, you know?
Right. So instead, you know, I've what you just said about that person that's, you know, waiting, you know, to just attack. Like, I think part of what my struggle was with getting out and talking about myself, which has gotten worse because, I mean, I performed for years. I mean, and this wasn't that much of an issue, but it's almost like I took over that voice, that kind of like hateful voice, so that I didn't have to hear it from the outside, you know, if that makes sense. Like, I became that critical voice for myself.
Was there something like that, anything else that, like, has there been anything around your life that has triggered you to generate some of this outside of music? Like, I know I've had things that happen in my life, some crazy people in my life and things that have happened that have just really stilted my music career and it froze me up and tore me apart for a long time because and I don't know how to deal with it, and it's taken a long time to get over these things because, you know, life gets in the way. Has there been anything like that has occurred in your life, and how did you get through it?
Yes, definitely. And I think it also has to do with our sensitivity, Jade. I mean, like, talk about hypersensitivity. So, like, something that may have been said or happened to me might not have affected, you know, the next person. And I'm imagining you have that sensitivity as well, where things just, you know, they penetrate so deeply. I mean, to the point where, like, I can remember things that happened 20 years ago as if they were, you know, just recent. I think meditation is a very important tool to sort of block out those, you know, not to go into specifics, obviously, because the specifics don't matter. It's all just how this stuff affected you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yes, you know, comments, I think I've been on a journey of recentering myself to do music and make art because I love it, and it's this balance, right? Because you are performing, but you have to have the strength inside of your own psyche, inside of your own mind, to separate yourself from the potential criticism, because who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. And so that's something that I've been practicing lately, right? And just this idea that, well, something I've been thinking lately is that everything has been done. Like, there's no more that has to be done. You've done it, V. So now anything that gets done is just a bonus. So just this idea of relaxing into yourself, trying not to focus on those words that were said to you, the painful experiences. I mean, you can allow it to inform your artwork for sure, but but just having the strength, building the strength. It's not having it. It's building the strength inside of yourself to allow those things to have been what they were. And yes, it hurt, and it was debilitating at the time, and it put you on this path, and it put me on this path where I am now, where I am just coming out of that. I can't even believe I'm speaking right now, actually. And when you said it's time, you don't even know how profound that statement was, because, I mean, I kind of feel like crying a little bit, because
I'll go for it. I already have. You made me cry
time.
today. You made me cry twice today.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a new hormone regime or not, which is killing me.
Oh, we all have hormone imbalances, right?
It's hard. You know, last night I got a comment on one of my videos from 2 years ago. And seriously, the comment... we've talked about this on so many of these shows. Just I don't understand what goes through people's minds. before they post things. Like the comment was, "Oh, for Pete's sake, we're so busy. Can you not thank people at the end of your show, please?"
My gosh. Oh my goodness.
Like, so, I mean, I used to just ignore those comments, but I wrote back, "Totally, my friend. I absolutely agree. I know you're busy. You have two people to tend to on your subscribers list, but it's all about you."
Well, yeah, but this is what we were talking about in the before the show. Like, you are open and susceptible to all kinds of this stuff. You know,
they love
like
it.
these people.
They love it. They don't even respond when you give them a smart-ass comment back either. It's like they much type and then they go, "Ha ha ha, I'm never going back to that. My work is done here." And they pull their dastardly cape over their face and run away with Muttley the dog.
Right.
Like, it seems so ludicrous. Could you imagine doing that, Viv?
Well, no, but that's that boundary that you have to place up, right? That's exactly, I guess, you know, I think that's exactly what I mean. Like, those are those mean voices that are going to come the second you put yourself out there. So, like, It's just a matter of, and you do it beautifully, you know, in terms of.
Well, I don't know about that. We're all just playing it by ear, you know. I think everybody can agree here in the chat. We're all just playing it by ear, and we're all going to make mistakes and write terrible things back or think terrible things. And, you know, Development of a Void, who's here today, I've been hanging out on his streams. He's been talking about evil and stuff lately. And do we all have to have a little bit of evil in us to be good? Like, and all this kind of stuff. And I think, yes. And
That's excellent.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just depends on how you act on this stuff. You know, if you act on the evil, then I don't know, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. But you're allowed to balance. Everything's about balance. You know, it is. And Ali just wrote that in the chat. I'm going to jump over now and play a song, and then we're going to talk about your early history. And we're going to celebrate that by playing something very early in your history. And let me just grab it here. Now, this is called Joy. Do you want to tell us about this wonderful song?
Yes. It's like Chad was saying, I was telling Jade, like, there are so many different ways to tell a story. And so let's hope I do this the right way.
Of course it's the right way. It's your way.
This song was born in the basement of my childhood home with my very, very good friend, Stash, or Uncle Stash. And I kept bugging him to finish the song because he had this melody, and I was like, no, it's almost done. I was like, come on, like, just one more cup of tea. So I would drag him over to the kitchen and like force him to drink a cup of tea, and I'm like, this is magical. It's gonna work. It's gonna help us. And so we finished the song in my basement, and I think a part of the reason why I chose this song to send to you is I think it did then. I mean, music, like I said, is always changing within us, but it represented exactly how I felt about music and about singing. This idea of sing me the life inside of you. Like, that was everything that singing was to me. It was just a transmission of what was inside of me, just out, and hoping to have that reflected back at me. So yes, that's what, and the title Joy is just appropriate for that idea or that concept. So hopefully that. Perfectly described.
Folks, we're going to play this song and kick back. So enjoy the emojis in the chat today, because you'll notice they are all wonderful women from our community today. Yeah, because it's Ladies Week here on the channel, at least 23 weeks a year. So let's do this. Are you ready? Let's go. Boom.
Did you break all your dreams with your stars-tinted fingers?
Jesus. You know, I always judge music that I like on if it makes me cry, unless it's metal. Because with its metal, if I want to punch everyone, then that's a good song. But with everything else, if it makes me cry, then it's a winner. And you know what? I was thinking during that song, that's so long ago, you know, that you remind me a lot of your music that, you know, that I followed since meeting you, of that kid who I always looked at school and stuff and went, why can't I just be naturally cool like that?
I'm sure you were.
No, I wasn't. I had to work at everything I did. But, you know, I don't know if anyone else thinks like this too, that I see artists and just think, wow, everything just looks so effortless that you could just put that home video out there and people just go, that's incredible. Like, it's so natural. It's a real talent, you know.
Thanks, Jade. And I just noticed that Jeremy Adler is in the chat. So Jeremy, oh my goodness, I can't even believe you're here. This is the bass player on Joy. That's his twin brother, Jer. So we played in a band together when I was in high school. That's it was a pretty important part of my journey as a musician. So he's here tonight, which is amazing. Oh, there he is, Jer.
Welcome, Jeremy, and welcome everybody. Let me do a roll call. We normally do it around this time, so if you want me to call your name out, type something, anything, just so I don't have to scroll. We've got Tremor Bear, we've got Jorge, we've got Laurie's Mishmash, we've got Thomas Christ, Lord Spike Protein, I won't kick you out, my friend, Clayton Von Kluge, Scott Borthwick, we've got Brad Example, Folk Punk, of course. Who? Folk Punk, so astute, this guy. Folk Punk picked up that the background of this thumbnail is your artwork. Of course he did, because it's Folk Punk. That guy is he's eagle eye crazy. Greg O'Sullivan, Barry Glenn, Conspiracy Music, Doctor's Orders. I'm not going to do the sound effect. I don't have time. Chad Freeman, Charlie Gabolden, Development of a Void, Independent Many United. Man, you got the whole star cast of legends.
Amazing. I can't even...
Dom Torregrossa, Frank Terzo, Russ 8889. Of course, Russ is here. Both me and you have very good friendships with Russ. He's a good dude, Russ. You know,
yes, he is.
A lot of the time I call him the C word on here, and I do mean it, but he's a good friend. Chris Lane Sr., Hetriani's here as well. Hey, Het. Ali Strong, lovely Ali is here as well. If I've missed you, I'm trying to catch everyone here. Joe's here as well from Joe Barry Glee. Robbie Stingle, I can't miss Robbie Stingle, of course. I've got Tremor Bear. I think I said Tremor Bear. If I didn't, then we've got Wobbly Ashtray Records. Hello to you. Is there anyone else I missed? I'm trying to make sure I get you all. Let me scroll to the bottom. Jack Flash. Hello, Jack. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Jack.
Dom's here. Cold Acre, yes. Cold Acre says he's dodgy. You would say that, coming from Mr. Dodgy himself. Cold Acre. He's a dodgy dude, let me tell you. Know him in real life. Anyway, so thank you all for hanging out. We got a really cool show ahead.
Yes.
And Steve-O as well. Hi, Steve-O.
Can I just tell you, thank you all for being here. Like the love that I feel for you guys is pretty immense. So this has been, I don't know if I said it, but just this entire community and meeting everybody and the exchanges that we've had and the support, and I just love.
Well, I said this to you at the start of the show. I'm not going to use the exact analogy I used before the show because it was a bit weird. But when you came into this community, I know there's Ed Solinsky as well. Hello, Ed. And so when you came into this community, I remember saying to Russ and Brad, we were chatting, and I was like, holy shit, there are going to be people diving all over this girl to try and do a collaboration. The poor thing, she's going to get flooded with emails.
which I want to do, I'm dying to do. I have ideas for lots of people. Lori, I'm looking at you. But yes, I want to, as many as possible.
It's hard too, isn't it? Because, you only have so much time in the day, and, you come into this and get overwhelmed by all these amazing people who are putting out music, constantly putting out music, and they all want you to be a part of their thing. But you ended up hanging out over the SWA. How did that happen?
Well, yeah, so Dom. Oh my goodness. Forever
Dom.
grateful to Dom. But so forever grateful. He sort of he found me. I was sort of stumbling in a stupor my way back to music. In the throes of an existential musical crisis, or crisis in general, seriously. I was just like, wait a minute, like I think I was a musician, because I took such a long break to go back to graduate school when it became clear as day that I wasn't going to be able to actually support myself as a musician. So I, with the pressure from any number of people and things around me, I went back to graduate school and I became a speech language pathologist who struggles with all kinds of anxiety issues. So 6 years later, I was just like, wait a minute, like, wasn't I a musician? Isn't this what I used to do? Don't I sing? Because I had just become so disconnected from who I was as a musician. I think I had to shut down that part of myself in order to redirect the course of my life and go back to school, which had never been any type of strength for me. I mean, I was never really focused on school. So see, I told you I'd go off onto tangents, so feel free to kind of bump me back on.
Tangent away, my friend.
So I think I think that's actually when it all kind of came crashing down. Is that moment I said to myself, well, if you're going to go back and back to school and become this professional, like I sort of like shut down the voice at that point, and all kinds of lovely things go wrong when you strangle yourself, So I finished school. I years later was working, as a speech language pathologist and trying to sort of like remember who I used to be. And I decided, well, hey, like I have all of this music, that I've recorded why don't I just kind of start putting it out there? Who knows, maybe somebody wants to sing them, who knows what could happen. And so I posted some songs into a great group actually called the Songwriters Review and Feedback Group. And that's when Dom sort of found me, like, just...
He's always trolling around, Dom.
But, yeah, and so he said, hey, we have this group called Songwriters Anonymous. And I said, oh, that sounds awesome, and as a result, I've met all kinds of... And so it was through Songwriters Anonymous that I then kind of came across the metalhead hippie, because actually Naya gave up her spot. Yes.
Right on, good deal.
Yes. And so that's how it sort of all snowballed.
You said in that passage there that you had lost.
Very long.
That no, that's not what I'm saying. No, but you felt like you lost yourself. You had to remember that you're a musician. Do you really think that you lost yourself, or because it's interesting, life gets in the way, things get in the way, and as musicians, I've done it too. Just drifted away and hated music, and then it felt like, hang on, where am I? Oh, that key component's gone. Music. Do you ever really lose it?
No, probably not. But it was a period of time where it was like painful to even think about singing or doing music, because it felt so far away and out of context. It wasn't. No, I don't think you can lose it. I think, but I think you can become disconnected from it. And just to bring it all back to the voice, because that was always my primary focus, I think. When you tie yourself up in all kinds of existential knots, it cuts you off from the very thing that you are. So it was never lost. I just had to find it within myself again. And that's what being here has helped me to do. And it's still helping me to do. So just grateful to be here.
Something else we were talking about. I'm going to get to the early questions. I don't like following a plan, so I'm just letting this go where it goes. We were talking about before the show how, like, you know, people have different levels of skill sets, right? And, like, I'll look at you and go, as soon as I heard your music, I'm like, oh, there's a pro right there. Straight off the bat, I can hear somebody who's naturally gifted but has worked hard too and is a professional. And you could throw you in anywhere with any band and say, here's the music, here's a song, do it, and you do it. And there's other people who are amateurs but have the potential to be good, right? And I think it's, at the end of the day, though, when you are somebody who's, you know, got a very high skill set, you don't look at yourself like that, though. Right? You don't wake up and look in the mirror and go, fuck, I'm better than everyone else. Yeah. Right? And that's why I love to do these shows, because we're all dealing with the same bullshit demons that are kicking us in the forehead every day, telling us we're shit.
Yes.
And, what are your thoughts on people getting better, ways for people to overcome these things and get better and understand their craft?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind is I had a friend who I was talking about this stuff with, and talking about demons, and I was, you know, talking about how they get in the way, and he said to me, you need to be the demon. And so I think that's an interesting, yes, like just this idea
Absolutely.
of just like, you know, I'm not going to curse, but just like, just embrace that demon and sort of become it, and don't be afraid to look at yourself and I think if anybody has any, if people have, let me not generalize and say, don't be afraid to look at the beauty that is within yourself, because I think so many people are afraid to acknowledge like the things that they are good at. So like it you know, it's okay to give yourself props for like the things that you can do, and to develop that pride, because if you go the opposite way, and then you just crumble and you become disconnected from everything because you've completely lost faith in your ability. So the demons, embrace it. It kind of goes back to that whole thing, like, yes, there's always going to be that noise, and I say this as I struggle with this. There has to be, you have to protect yourself enough to acknowledge that it exists, but there's got to be some sort of way that it doesn't penetrate you so deeply that you just lose everything. So focus on the reason you're creating the music, which is just that it's pure love, it's pure joy. And if you can focus on that, I think the demons lose power, you know? Freddy
Krueger syndrome, huh?
Yeah. Oh, is that? Oh, okay.
You know, well, that's the way they killed Freddy Krueger. They went into the dreams and he'd come and go, "Rah," and say stupid one-liners, and people just went, I don't believe in you anymore. You're an idiot. And he was like, what?
Right.
What? Ah, no, but that's my whole thing, fear. You know, I'm scaring you the minute you say, I'm not scared of you anymore. Like, piss off.
Well, yeah, and fear. I mean, yes, like so much of that deer in headlights, or the things that freeze us, are the fear, but it comes from places that you wouldn't necessarily expect. And that's a lot of like the journey that I've sort of been on, is like talk about hyper emotional, like that my emotions and my memories have always manifested in my body. And so like to really look at, where is this fear coming from? Why? What does it feel like in my body? And just like acknowledge it and look at it and study it from almost a perspective outside of yourself, so that like you can almost move through it and make peace with it. And that's sort of what I've been focused on. Yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but
absolute sense. Yeah, 100%. Let's get out of the heavy stuff for a little bit. I dragged you straight into the weeds today, didn't I? You know, I was cruel. You thought you were going to come on and name the first album you like. My show, my rules.
Yeah.
Because, you know, here's the thing. You know, I watch all you guys in the chat. I watch you. I watch everyone. I may not interact in the chat all the time, but I do watch people, and I'm very interested in the way people grow. And it's like, you know, I think I got a good sense of who people are. And I kind of know, you know, by the amount of times we tried to organise this and you weren't ready. But, you know, I never sat here once going, oh, man, is she going to come on? You know, hey, everything happens for a reason, in my opinion. You know, the right time is the right time. And this month was right. And I can see it in you now that it is the right time. So let's get to the easy stuff. Do you recall the music that was played in your household when you were a little Viv Sparro? And did it influence you? And who are some of the artists?
Yeah, my dad was very much still is, I guess, into classical music and opera. He's a huge opera fan. So I remember him standing in our living room next to the turntable that we had, listening to Madame Butterfly and just weeping and heaving.
Wow.
So I think the fact that memory, I mean, remember, I kind of talked about how memories definitely stick with me, almost too much sometimes. But yeah, I can picture him and just the beauty of, like, I think it was Belle D, I'm not sure. But so that my father was a classical music person. My mom, she played the piano, she sang. I always thought she had a very pretty voice, but she couldn't listen to music. She would always say it was too emotional for her. So like she had a lot of difficulty with listening to music. She sometimes said that the first time she was able to listen to music is when I started singing. So perhaps that's true. I don't know. Yes. But really, I think it was my brothers, because I had two older brothers. So I mean, it was, you know, I would sneak into their rooms and I would, you know, throw on the Led Zeppelin and the I don't know, Police. And I remember driving around with my brother. He would just blast. He would take us to our father's house on Fridays, and you know, he'd be playing the Pixies and just Wave of Mutilation, and like, you know, just that the way that the melodies just like coursed through me, just on a wave of you know, just like, oh, this is it, and it like. And I wasn't, you know, close to my brother at the time, so I'd be silently sitting there just like, this is awesome. Like, I just love music so much. So yeah, just like all that like bluesy rock stuff that my brothers would play. My mom was big into ballroom dancing, so she's a good dancer. So there was some of that kind of music as well. But yeah.
I knew you came from a musical background. You just feel it, you know. Some people, you can just feel that they were surrounded by it, and I can tell too. Like, you know, you saying that the Pixies and stuff like that, because you seem like a person who's just music. Just, it gets me so excited. I just want to grab things and squeeze on. Yes. That's what I'm like. It's just give me more of it. Give me more. And I know there's many people in here in the chat who are exactly the same about music. Do you remember the first album that you were given as a gift and purchased with your own pocket of money?
Yeah, I love this question. There are actually three that I was given. Well,
you can have as many. You can have as many as you want. By the way, it's your show.
Yes. The first one was Annie, the Broadway musical.
Oh wow.
Which is just, I mean, I remember like I had this little like plastic record player. It was back in the 80s, and I would just, oh my God, just that red cover, and I would just like over and over. Just, I mean, how beautiful were those melodies, right? Like, oh my God, like maybe far away. I mean, just like this beautiful, gut-wrenching. You know that song, right?
Of course I do.
But just the leaps and the so I know, like, the next question is, did that influence like your musicality? And like, yeah, absolutely. Those across any genre, any style, it's those melodies, like, and the lyrics too, of course. But those are the ones that like are. It sticks in your head, you know. So.
Was it?
Okay, and then
I'm trying to find the one. Was it? Oops, wrong screen.
Yes. Oh, with the dog. No, with the other.
This one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's it.
My sister
That's
had
it.
this. My sister had this as well.
Oh, good stuff.
Anyway,
Oh gosh, good stuff.
anyway.
Oh, and the two albums that I stole from.
Of course.
From a Friday night with my dad. I know a bunch of people in the chat are going to hate this. Sorry, Mr. Smith. Sorry, who else hates Bob Dylan? There's a bunch of them out there.
He's here, Mr. Smith. He was.
Yeah. So I this greatest hits, Mr. Smith. I almost said Mr. Smith greatest hits when I was no. Bob Dylan greatest hits. I stole it from my dad's Cadillac. It was this brown, like, cassette tape that had coffee stains all over it, but, like, oh, man, like, once again, he used to, like, drive around and, you know, blast, like, Rainy Day Woman and all that raucous, like, you know, stuff. It was just amazing. So that was, yeah, but it was a brown cassette, but yes, it didn't have the case. It was just, that's it. Oh, my
there
goodness,
it is. Is that it there?
Holy shit.
You can find anything on eBay. Oh, no, the internet these days.
That's it. Everybody must get stoned. I mean that.
Yeah, we will.
But so that one, and then the last one that I stole was Pavarotti and Friends, and I heard for the first time. I know it's so random.
I'm just stealing classical, like, opera singers. You know, I'm a rebel.
Oh my goodness, but it had that song Caruso on it. I don't know if you've heard it.
Yeah,
oh my goodness,
that's a crazy song.
Oh, right, crazy beautiful song. Yeah, so that, I mean, it's like I said, just the melodies, man. It's always been the melodies. I don't care what genre it is. If it's got that melody that just gets you, you know. So,
melodies are important. You know, they're very important. I know I don't care about the chords ever when I write a song. It's just, hey, I can throw together 3 chords. I can throw together 1 chord for 1 song, because you can make an incredible melody out of 1 chord and just play that chord over and over and just give it so much depth.
Yeah, man.
No, look at the Beatles. The Beatles, everything's about melody. Every single bit about their music, and it's the reason why you hear every one of their songs. It just sticks.
Yeah, and then like you throw like the vocal capabilities onto that, like the dynamics of, and the spits, the grunts, the gurgle. I mean, like like everything like Gladys Worthington brings to the table.
Oh, good
like
God.
just that, but like the voice, like, and how it translates, how you can just pull even more emotion out of the melody with how you approach the song vocally. I mean, it's just. The voice is magnificent, the instrument.
Speaking of melodies, and we're back in the old days, we're going to play another song. And we're going to get I'm going to try and nearly get all these in today. I don't know, which one would you prefer me to play? Diamonds and Rust or Pepper Queen?
Oh my goodness. I didn't even have Pepper Queen. Oh my goodness. Diamonds and Rust is interesting because it relates to this community because when Dom found me, the first person that I heard was Folk and Blueser, and I was like, "Who the hell is this?
Good
this
God.
is
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God!" This guy is his voice, and he did a cover of Diamonds and Rust, and I was like, "Oh my God, I have the." And Jeremy, if he's still in the chat, is playing guitar on this. I was 16 years old in high school, and that was Jeremy on guitar and his brother Warren on bass, and I think we had a drummer too. But this is the first song that I ever performed live. This is the first performance.
I'm so glad you chose that for me, see? You just chose it and started talking about it. Let's do it. We'll come back in a minute, folks. You ready? Let's play a bit of Diamonds and Rust. Boom.
It's just that the moon is full and you have been called. Oh, and here I sit, my hand on telephone, oh, hearing the voice I've known, you know, a couple of light years ago. Headed straight for a fall. As I remember, your eyes were bluer than robin's eggs. My poetry was lousy, you said. Oh, where are you calling from? A booth in the Midwest. 30 years ago, you brought her some couplings. Oh, she brought you something. And you both know what memories can bring. They bring diamonds and rust. Well, you burst on the scene already. Unwashed phenomenon, the original vagabond, straight into my arms. Oh, and there you stayed, temporarily lost at sea. The Madonna was yours for free. Yes, girl on the half shell could keep you on warm. Now I see you standing with brown leaves falling all around and snow in your hair. Now you're smiling out the window from the hotel over Washington Square.
grab your coat
Whoa, whoa,
and
whoa.
get your
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where am I? Everything went crazy. My whole switchboard went crazy then. Sorry, guys. Because what happened there, just so you know, because when the song started, because it's such an old recording, it was off balance, like it was coming out left side more than the right side. So I actually went in to the panning and stereo corrected it.
Oh,
So
that's amazing.
So that's what happens when you got something like this beast sitting there. So now
Oh.
I've got to go back and make sure everything's back to
Oh, wow, that's cool that you can do that.
the middle. Let's just sort that out. Sorry, guys. There we go. Extreme left. There, we're all good.
Guys, thank you so much for the incredible comments. I mean,
Oh, well, it's
thank you so much.
amazing stuff. Like,
I love how did you see how I hit the A note, so I would be able to sing that last note at the end because I wasn't sure where it was. That ding.
so amazing to see somebody at 16 years old sitting there commanding an audience like that.
Well, and Jer, I mean, that was, he said it. It was a magical night, and it's funny. It was magical. I can't even believe you're here. It's blowing my mind, but yes. Yeah.
All right,
Magical night.
we're at the halfway mark, and I am contractually obligated now to talk about our sponsor today, and I hope you'll join me here while I bring this up. I'll leave you in the bottom corner so you're with me, because
Okay.
I want to hear your music on DistroKid very soon. I mean, you know, it would be awesome to have you to be able to just play you, even though I can play you on YouTube Music. It would be so good. I know everybody in the chat would agree. Would it be awesome, folks, to open up your Spotify and have Viv Sparro? Damn straight it would. So with DistroKid, they've got 3 awesome plans you can sign up to. You can use my little tag. It's up the top there, distrokid.com/VIP/Jade Starr, and you'll get 7% off your first year. Simple plans, easy to sort out, $22.99 for a basic plan, unlimited releases, and you're good to go. Yeah, it's as easy as pie to release stuff. You've seen me on the channel release stuff before. It's super easy to do. Plus, I want to tell you about something that you can do that you may not be aware of. Here, if you click up here on DistroKid, because there's so many little goodies you can do, we've got this thing called Special Access. And down here it says YouTube Official Artist Channel. So if you have a YouTube channel and you would like to connect your music, so you know when you release a song and it goes to that topic channel, you can have all your songs appear on your official YouTube channel. Super easy to set up. Here's the page. You pretty much select the artist that you've already got here. So I would select one of my bands here, send it off, do the bizzo. So I'd select Jade, Starr, DreadCircus. It says, do you have a YouTube channel? Yes, of course I do. My YouTube channel, boom. Oh, wow, this is a new thing. Yes, I have a YouTube channel that contains content from Jade, Starr and other artists. But it says, sorry, channels with multiple artists are ineligible. So see, that's why I don't have one yet. But if you do, here's all you got to do. You just got to link your YouTube channel, and then all your music will appear on your YouTube channel from your Spotify, all that kind of stuff. Everything you release will appear on your channel, and it's easier to get views and get people to watch that stuff and get more money. Yeah, that's what it's all about, because everybody wants to make money, don't they? I don't. But that is a cool little thing you can use with DistroKid. So again, easy to set up, easy to join DistroKid. So many, releases you can have. You could release 100 releases a year. It's perfect for people who make music. Yes, and Thomas says, this is really a must. Topic channels are no bueno when you want people to find you. Absolutely. And if it's all on one channel, it's perfect. So this is something that you can do with DistroKid. I want to thank DistroKid for sponsoring this show, as they do sponsor 2 shows a month. As always, I love you, DistroKid. There you go. It doesn't get creepier each time, does it? No, I think so. They're probably going to pull their sponsorship eventually and go, can you stop doing that? It's getting weird. But I do. I love them. All right. We are around here because school is a big part of your music career, I'm assuming. So Tell us about how, like, were you playing music in, like, primary school? Did you play the recorder? Were you doing it from an early age? She's got a recorder.
This actually might actually be the original one. I can't 100% verify that, but it is quite possible that this is the relic from the past. But there is a reason why this is why it became more of a part of my life. What was the question exactly?
Did you play the recorder? No, at school. Were you musical at school? Were you early shooter of music?
Yes, I was actually rejected from the choir in elementary school, though, which was it broke my heart. It broke my heart because my best friend got in and I didn't. So yes, that was a very sad moment in my third grade career. But yeah, we did play the recorder. I don't think I was not a great student of the recorder at that time. But yes, and I was always like in the high school, the plays and that kind of thing. Like from
you're a theater kid.
A little bit. I mean, not too much.
Just a bit.
Just a little. I don't think I have that personality that is required for that type of.
You weren't a wanker.
Well, oh my goodness. No, but I did fit in with them to some extent,
I'm surprised that you got kicked out. You got kicked out, you say, and you didn't play your trump card and go, hang on a minute, I stole Pavarotti.
Well, this was before. This was third grade. So
All right.
I hadn't quite become a thief at that point, but yeah. So yeah, and then I started heavily studying voice when I was 16. So that was pretty early on.
I didn't call her a wanker. I said she said she wasn't a theatre kid. She wasn't able to be a wanker. I struggled. I was in theatre. I did the theatre and did Rocky Horror and did a whole bunch of that stuff. And I used to get in fights with them all because I just thought they were all wankers. I was just like, I would say to them at the end of like a theatre or rehearsal and stuff, I'd say, you do realise we're not on stage anymore. Because like so many of them would be off stage and they'd be like, hello. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we're going for
But Jade, that is such a part of you. I mean, it's such a part of you to admire. I mean, I was telling Jade before the show that like everything that she does is just on such a high level. And I think that acting and that theater, you bring all of that like incredible level of talent. I mean, I think it's valuable to what you do, that theater background.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to do theatre because it puts you under a duress. Act like a tree, do this dumb shit, and you feel like a fool. And I think as a performer, you can have all the chops on the planet, but if you can't entertain people and you have no inhibitions, it's really hard to captivate people.
But it also puts you in the character, and it also puts you inside the song, because just to go back to the struggle with anxiety, I mean, one of the things that happens is you get so inside of your own head that if you can actually get into the character of the song, you can kind of put yourself over here, and you don't have to worry about it. So I think it's valuable in that sense too, that you can interpret the song. It becomes something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, you see it on shows like American Idol and stuff all the time. These young kids go on there, and they got so much talent, and all the way through the show they're saying pick a song, and then they sing the song and they go, I'm not seeing you in it. And it's like, you keep telling them to sing other people's songs. Like they're too young to understand like how to get into that position. And then by the time the winners happen at the end of 3 months, they get there, and there are those moments when these singers find that moment where they are actually singing from their soul. and they win, and then they go, great, here's your prize, an album that was written by somebody else.
Right.
And you're like, what the fuck? What was that all for? What a dumb exercise.
Yeah.
Have you been asked in your life, how come you haven't gone on American Idol?
So, yes, but I did something akin to it. When I was, but yes, and the answer is always, I never would do that. There's just never, like, for a plethora, a myriad of reasons that, no. But when I was performing with, I've lots and lots and lots of cover gigs, bar gigs, band, that kind of thing, lots of incarnations over the years. But one of the things that happened to Kristina and I when we were playing together is we got discovered by this show in Nashville called, oh gosh, I hadn't even thought about this, called Can You Duet?
Oh, wow.
You could probably Google it.
What a funny name.
It's called Can You Duet? And they found us, they contacted us, they asked us to like send in a demo video, and so we did, and we got the call back, and they flew us down to Nashville, and so we performed for this panel of judges. I think like Winona Judd was was one of the that happened, and there it is.
Can You Duet? An American reality competition show on CMT. The show was produced by Fremantle Media. Oh my God, I used to work for them.
No kidding.
Oh dear. Well, I used to work for a company called Beyond, which Fremantle Media is connected to. It's a television production studio. We used to do Mythbusters and a whole lot of shows. And Fremantle Media is connected because we were connected to American Idol and Australian Idol, and we controlled the phone tallies. We did all the tallying and stuff. I was an accountant. I didn't do anything special there. So the show premiered April 14th, 2008, first season. So and how did that go? Going on there, like, was it?
It was just weird, like just really, really weird. I don't know that I want to go into like the details of everything that happened, but like the things that were said to us and said to my Kristina, my partner, and just odd things like, and should I even talk about like the contract that you have to like sign?
It's bullshit.
I mean, it's like, basically you agree that there will be cameras everywhere, blah, blah, blah. It's like, what the hell? I don't know. So, I mean, we thankfully did not get onto the show. Like, I'm glad that it didn't happen, but yeah.
I agree on stuff like that. I went on Big Brother at one point and got through to the final 16, and then I pulled out last minute, and then they tried to sue me. Anyway, that's another story because, yes, contracts, it's brutal, and they put you through psychiatry. They test you. They poke you. They find out everything about you, and they throw dumb shit at you, like about your parent that's passed away, and they try and work you up and get you all fucked up in the head. It's like, Jesus Christ. And they say they do it because, well, people are going to be out there doing this in the public. We need to see how you can handle it. And it's like, good grief. Man, there's a lot of bullshit behind television. I worked in the television industry for a long, long time, and it's very evil stuff. Definitely.
And not to mention, like, what's the point? I mean, this is another topic altogether, but like, I don't, I'm not the kind of singer that's gonna sing other people's songs for many reasons. I don't really like. I can't sing a Whitney Houston song. Who can though is Lady Campion, who is amazing. Yeah. She's my spirit animal. She's just grace and beauty. But I don't know. Like it's just not my thing. Not my interest.
I think the thing, I'll finish on this, and then we'll ask this question I've had from Clayton Von Clues that he demands that I ask you. The other thing, I'm super thankful for not going on Big Brother, is I've seen how many people afterwards whose lives are just destroyed. Like, they think it's this big ticket into superstardom, and it's not. The fall from grace is massive. You have to be absolutely resilient beyond the toughest material on the world for what comes afterwards, because you are contracted after these things. Even if you lose, even if you drop out early on, you are contracted for ages afterwards to make appearances and speak the right way. It is, and it can. You're better off just doing it as an independent, you know, and struggling and paying your dues the hard way, in my opinion.
Yes.
Clayton Von Kluge asks, I can't see the question here, can you ask her if she admires the work of Ennio Morricone, the famous Italian music composer, mostly for films?
Oh, God. I've never heard of him.
It was worthwhile holding on to that question, Clayton.
Can you send some of his material my way?
Yeah.
Clayton?
Yeah.
Like Facebook me?
Shoot her a Facebook. The Facebook
Should I know?
In the description. No, I don't even know either. I just thought I'd throw it up there. I'm trying to be interactive. Was the pronunciation okay? That's all that matters. Anyway, let's continue. I'm going to play a song and then we're going to come back and continue on because we're going to go a little bit overtime today, folks. Viv has already given me permission to go overtime today and hang out a little bit longer than normal. So thank you for that, Viv. I'm just picking one now and I'm going to go with New World Reprise.
Oh, well, then I have to tell you.
Of course, you must.
So, Roseona Jaquette. That is me. I am Roseona Jaquette. For those of you who have seen that name in the chat, I feel like it was time because I was starting to feel like I didn't want to be deceptive, but Folk Punk and I have sort of like come together on a little bit of a side project, and we've we've created Roseona Jaquette. I don't know if I should talk more about it, maybe after, but...
Yeah, all the links to all these other YouTube channels this lady has secret channels of are all in the description if you want to go and suss them out. Let's play this. This is New World Reprise. You ready, folks? To be dazzled as always. Let's do it. I'm really off my game. I'm really off my game today. I'm just sitting here listening to music, just lost, going, "Oh shit! I'm running a show. What am I doing?" This rarely happens, and I just get absorbed. Fantastic stuff. What a great collaboration. You and Folk Punk.
And that's Frank Terzo's song, the legend himself. And yeah, he had, put the tracks out for people to do their own versions. So
He's such a great songwriter too, and
yes.
I've looked at doing my own stuff to it, but I just don't have the time, unfortunately. God, I wish I had more time, but it just doesn't happen. I'm going to bounce. We're going to bounce over to. So talking about, what was your first? You've obviously played in many bands, I assume. The first band name.
Jeremy. Jer. What was it? It was Little Green Men was one of the names, and I think we transitioned over to the 11th Hour. So it was the same band with two different names.
Little Green Men. Do you think the
Little Green Men?
Do you think there's little green men who are watching us?
It's possible. It's possible. Yeah.
I think they're grey, and I think they're us.
Yes.
I think we're the aliens on this planet, and
yes.
I was saying this. I think I was saying a development of a Voids channel the other day. I think we're the grey matter that's on this planet, and we're too busy thinking black and white, and we need to come back to thinking grey, the same colour as our brain, and then we might have some peace, because black and white's obviously not working for us. So playing gigs, you're young, you're playing lots of gigs. Is there a turnover of bands that you played in? Was there were you doing like any session work or anything? You seem like you'd be a session artist.
It's funny. I'm looking at. I did this this session with this guy Robert Jackson. He was a huge like Richie Blackmore fan, actually. This was prior to the tour, but he did this album Twilight Theater, and I was to be this like spirit that would come in, and so I was like singing all this like wacky like sort of Renaissance-y type of stuff. So yes, long story short, I'm looking at it right now, but yes, lots of different incarnations, and yeah.
Any that stand out like that were a thing that. Do you look back on any? I know there's bands I've been in where I look back and go, oh man, that really was the one. And far out if all the toxic shit hadn't have happened. So was there anyone like that stood out for you?
Honestly, all of them.
Wow.
I felt all of them. Yes, I felt because I went into things very consciously. So yes, Jeremy, Warren. That was a great band. We were a bunch of high school kids, but I think there was a lot of potential there, and I think he would agree. But Kristina and I think you'll play a song that we did together, but there was a lot of potential there just to create beautiful things. Uncle Stash, needless to say, he was, I created so much music with him, and hopefully there's still more to create, but I don't think I've ever done a project where I'm sort of half-assed about it, or have I? It's not coming to my.
I don't think there's anything you could do half-assed. You've got natural ability; it shines through all the time. So, even if you were half-assed, most people would sit there and watch it and go, "Oh Jesus Christ, I'm throwing away my guitar."
Oh.
It's true. It is. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Speaking of. Cool artists, because here's the thing. I expect too, just being such a really amazing artist, that you've played with many cool people, like Jeremy here, who you obviously respect as well. You seem like you'd have really good camaraderie with artists. Is there anybody out there, say a big name, something like that you may have been involved in the past? I don't know, just name drop. You know who I'm talking about, I think.
Dun, 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 bow, 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 bow. Yeah, yes. I was the background singer and rhythm guitar player for Blackmore's Night, which was Richie Blackmore's, which is his band, his new band, I guess, now, still.
Now I'm just gonna mute. I'm just gonna censor myself. Me dead. See, respect. I'm not going to swear today, but no. When I found this out, I'm like, what the hell? You're a backup singer for Blackmore? Are you kidding me? What? How did this? How does this happen? I know this is kind of this is explained in the video we're going to play, isn't it? How it came about.
Not how it came about.
Sure, let us know. Tell us, and we're going to play that next because I want to play the whole thing. You said you sent me this video, and it was like, play it from here, and I was like, yeah, but the video only goes for a few minutes more, and I think the context will really blow everybody away. So, but tell us, how did it all come about?
I was singing at the back fence on Bleecker Street. It was it's not there anymore, which is so strange because it was there for so many years, since the 60s. But it's just this cover joint, and gosh, I have so much history with that place. But anyway, I was singing there. This was just around the year, I guess, 2000, just before September 11th. And Paul Umbach, who's still a very good friend of mine, he's an incredibly talented musician and producer. He happened to be walking by, and he was good friends with the keyboard player in Blackmore's Night. And he walked into the back fence, and he saw me up there dressed in my, like, I don't know, some sort of hippie getup that I had on with like crystals and whatever it is I had, whatever situation going on. But and he was just like, oh shit, she might possibly be good for the Blackmore's Night tour. So I hate to say this, but I never really heard of Ritchie Blackmore. I mean, I was a kid. It wasn't like so yeah, he dropped me his number, and he said, give me a call. And so I spoke with him on the phone, and he said, do you think you could do like a 4-track, like a demo of a song and send it over to Ritchie and Candace? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I picked their song, Spanish Nights, and I had my 4-track recorder that I borrowed from a crappy ex-boyfriend. And I played guitar, and I sang like 4-part harmony on this song called Spanish Nights, and I sent it, and I got a call back, and they're just like, yeah, can you come down and meet us? And I met them at a restaurant. I won't say where. I don't want to talk about where he lives, but yeah, and we just hung out and had dinner and just
wow,
sing songs, and yeah.
All right, we're going to play this whole thing through. I want you all to experience it the first time I watched it. If you may have seen it before, but it's just wicked. Viv said, just play it from here, 5 minutes in or whatever, and I was like, no. It gives you a chance if you need to go to the toilet or anything like that, or get a drink, and we can just chill. But seriously, folks, enjoy this. You're going to love it. It's such a beautiful thing because, you're speaking and stuff, poetry, we'll get into that in a second, but it's just, the whole thing is beautiful. So let's play it. We'll be back shortly. You ready, guys? Boom.
I was here when I was a background singer and rhythm guitar player for Blackmore's Night. Rabenstein, that's what it's called. It was one of a few castles we played at in Germany. I remember this place, pulling up in the tour bus and seeing it and walking across the bridge to go inside. We were all so tired that night from a long flight and subsequent bus trip. They served us dinner at this huge long table in the main dining room. It was dark. Stone walls, candlelight, German sausages and sauerkraut, and then they sent us off to bed. I also think I heard voices in the castle that night, but that's a different story altogether. This castle, this was the venue where I opened up for the band. I sang Black Beauty, a song written by Stan and Ed that I had recently recorded with our band, Isabella.
Black beauty deep inside, gather round your flame. Mother Nature, she cannot hide all I am today. Sometimes these dreams are deeper than the skin. I'm gonna wake up screaming like I'm home again. Here I am inside your heart, peaceful like a child who makes the music in the park where the love grows wild. Lord, sometimes I feel like I'm going home when the lights are fading and I'm all alone. And if my dreams are falling, I got lost along the way. Back to life before my blue, though it's been a while. Here comes my girl without her shoes. Yeah, we're gonna walk along the night. Lord, sometimes I feel like I'm going home when the lights are fading and I'm all alone. And if my dreams are falling, I got lost along the way. If my dreams are falling, I got lost along the way. Along the way.
The day we left this place, it sort of looked like it does in this picture in terms of the falling of the sunlight. I was sitting on the tour bus waiting to leave and looking out the window at this angle, more or less. Actually, there was some foreshadowing in my life previously, hinting that I would be part of this band. A few experiences I had had when I was in Oxford, England, performing at the college because my brother Patrick was a student there at the time and had gotten me a bunch of gigs. At one of the gigs, I met a couple of kids who had access to a studio, and one of the guys happened to be the nephew of the drummer from the band Deep Purple, so I recorded some songs at his estate. The Fires at Midnight tour occurred in the early 2000s when it wasn't really as common to capture live performances on video. Filming things with a cell phone wasn't a thing. Stan and I have talked about that. We did so many gigs then that just vanished into thin air. That band was great, with that blend of classical, Celtic, straight up with a twist of the old heavy metal rock Richie was famous for. The whole experience was a dream of castles, magic forests, and fairy tales.
Traveled around the world, always on the search for something But what does it matter when all the roads I've crossed always seem to lead back to you? Oh, familiar faces, everyone you meet, following the ways of the land. Cobblestones and lanterns lighting every street, calling me to come home again. Dancing in the moonlight, singing in the rain. Oh, it's good to be back home again. Laughing in the sunlight, running down the lane. Oh, it's good to be back home again.
This is from a compilation that someone posted of Blackmore's Night TV appearances through the years. Here we are performing The Times They Are A-Changin', donned in medieval garb and surrounded by flames.
There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, 'cause the times they are a-changing.
Just wow. You know those last shots of you playing guitar? You look so goddamn happy.
Yeah, it's funny that just now I was almost crying because this feels like some sort of like deeper exploration of everything. So yeah, happy.
So much joy there.
Yeah.
Jenny said she's glad that I played the whole thing. So am I. There was no way I wasn't going to play that whole thing, because what an achievement!
Thanks, guys.
What an achievement! And you know, it doesn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form that someone like Blackmore just says, "Hey, I want this talent here performing."
Well, and I'll tell you guys, this might be interesting to some. So I had said that I hadn't really heard of. I mean, I guess I knew a little bit about him, but I knew enough. So we would have rehearsals at their house, and I would go out there for weeks at a time, you know, just to get ready for the tours. But one day, he was practicing down in the basement, and I was up in the room that I had in their house, and nobody else seemed to be home. But I was like, Richie Blackmore is practicing. I should probably go and listen. So I sat at the top of the basement stairs, and for like an hour, I listened to Richie play guitar. And I'm, you know, like, even though I didn't know, you know, as much as maybe somebody else would know about him, I knew enough to just like sit there and just listen. So it was, yeah.
There's something else you do that blows me away, and I want to talk about this because we talked about this at the start of the show. And I think it's really good for people who are artists, perform, write music, because ego is a motherfucker. It really is. Ego can be your downfall. You can get so wrapped up in your own ego when people are telling you all the time that you're fantastic. And it's as much of a trap, I think, for artists as drugs, you know, because they both tie into each other. And I think volunteering for people who are in a position that don't have people around them to brighten their day, no matter what it is, if they're sick or they're lonely. And it's something that you've been doing for a while. Do you want to tell us how you get into doing the stuff you do at nursing homes and assisted living facilities?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is like it was just divine intervention, because I was 15. I had just started playing guitar, and I was always writing songs and that kind of thing. But I went to this open mic night at a church in God knows where. I just know that I drove a significant amount of distance to get to it. And I got up, I played my song, and I couldn't tell you to this day who it was, but somebody had a business card, dropped it in my lap, and said, "You'd be good at this." Chills all over my body right now. Just dropped me a business card, said, "You'd be good at this." And here I am. I'm like freaking out a little bit. Like I feel it like all over. But yeah, and it was a lady who, helped people to like get, I guess, gigs at different kinds of venues and that kind of thing. And I called, and yeah, so I've been doing that for quite a while. Just
How many years do you think you've been doing this for? You said young.
Yeah, I was 15, so I'm not 15 anymore.
It's a bizarre thing because I got into this as well when I came out as trans. Overnight, everybody hated me. I've told this story on the channel. It was like all my friends were just gone, and I fell into myself. There was no longer this, oh my God, I can't even get through with my singing. I can't even like win people over with my voice anymore. Like that's even gone. And I fell into a hole and disappeared and stopped playing music. And it wasn't until somebody said, "Do you know what? You act like a hard bitch all the time, but underneath there's something in there that's really kind. Have you thought about volunteering for anything?" And I'd never thought about that before. And I looked into it, and I just randomly picked people with HIV dementia. Yeah. And 9 years later, I was holding on to the hand of the third person who was dying in front of my eyes. And you think, what can I get out of this? But it's not about that. It's about what you can give to somebody else. And this is, apart from DMT, one of the best ways to kill your ego, right? And you actually come away from it so much better, better.
Yeah.
Has it been an experience of you doing this that is just that's stuck with you? That
Oh my gosh, so many. Well, I was thinking about this because I don't know if this. I'll just tell it.
Yeah.
One of the, so I also I also worked in several different nursing homes as like a recreation therapist. It's just something I've always had an interest in. And I became friendly with a lot of the residents, and one in particular, he was the most beautiful spirit you've ever met. He was in his like late 90s. His name was Ted. I'll never forget. He was an incredible artist, and I was hanging out with him one day, as I did with my residents, and I said, I said, "Ted, I bet you if we had been like in high school together, and we would have been such great friends. We would have been sitting in the back of the class, like chuckling with each other, and just like we'd get in so much trouble." And he looked at me and he said, "We are great friends." And like I was like, holy shit, like yeah, we are great friends. I tell that story because although it's not the music per se, I think it sort of gets down to like the truth of everything, which is just like the connection and the love. But like, I don't know, that just sticks out in my mind as like something very important in terms of like the connection that you can make with people through art and love and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you see it here in this music community as well. There's so many people in this community who don't actually make music, but they're here at every goddamn show supporting everybody because clearly they're enjoying it as well. It is all about connection, and that's why I do preach. If you're going to write music, write something that connects. Write it and perfect it, hone it until it makes you cry. And trust me,
Yes.
you will destroy as a musician if you can make yourself cry with your own music. I'm going to play this really short clip. I wish this clip went on for an hour because it's truly one of the most beautiful things I've seen. So you ready? In fact, I'm probably going to play it twice because I can.
And thank you to Folk Punk because I had forgotten that this might be appropriate to send, and he's like, hey, you should send Jade
I already had this book. I already had it bookmarked already. What can I say? I'm a fan.
Well, likewise, my friend, likewise.
Thank you. Let's play this. You ready? This is just beautiful.
Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street.
Music reaches into a person's core being. As a professional touring singer, I love making that deep connection with the audience. Playing for residents in an assisted living facility or nursing home is pure joy. Whatever challenges any one person may face, the music energizes the spirit within, evokes beautiful memories, and brings together the community. I really look forward to each opportunity to perform.
On the sunny side of the street.
I lied. I'm not going to play it twice. You know what my favorite bit of that clip is? It's so beautiful. It's you're not even like full center in the shot. You're just in the background, like skipping up the aisle.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny you say that. That one of my friends cites that moment as his favorite moment too. That's funny that you say it.
That's it, because that's what music does. Like it lowers your inhibitions, and when you see so many people around with joy on their faces, you just it's an inner kid that we're talking about. When you're young again, you just
Yes.
you just vomit it
Yes.
all over everybody, and you don't care. You look back, and God, I look back at so many videos of myself on stage and go, oh my God, and then I think, no, that's what it's about. Raw, embarrassing. I'm doing an Elaine dance from Seinfeld. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, are you doing this really? Are you still doing this often?
Yeah, I mean, it's this is what I mean. Like, sometimes I feel like there's so much to say that I don't know how to organize my thoughts. Yes, I need to take lessons from Chad in storytelling. Yes, this is something that it was always the main focus, right? So the speech language pathology thing came about as sort of a way to have an excuse to then, okay, now that I have a real, profession, I can do what I really want to do. So, yes, it's. I just moved recently, so I'm sort of really focused on finding places that I can sing at and perform at. But if I can combine the work that I do as a speech pathologist with where my heart is, which is the music. I mean, and there's so much. The reason I became a speech pathologist to begin with is because of the nursing home gigs, and because I would see the speech pathologist walking around and palpating the throats and what's going on there, and I would also see how the songs that I was singing was facilitating this expressive language. So I mean, it's so intertwined for me. So yes, that's a long answer to your quick question, but yeah,
it's perfect answer. It's an interesting thing, doing that kind of stuff. It's on the same level as playing music and reaching people with music, because you get that instant feedback. And I know the hardest thing for me to learn as a volunteer was shutting up, being quiet, and because you're not there as a volunteer with somebody to tell them about your shitty life.
yeah,
You're there to listen to people. And it's one of the things we don't do enough as humans. Listen, the best example, when I lived in Sydney, I had to move away from Sydney and come back to Melbourne because I noticed after 10 years living there, that every time I had a conversation with people at a pub, I'd start my conversation and I could see the person across from me, them thinking about what they're going to say next. And I'm like, you're not even fucking listening to me. And I would just throw that into the sentence. I'd be like, so anyway, we saw this car and you're not listening to me, are you? And the car was red. And they never picked up on it. And I would think, dude, you need to get into volunteering straight away. You got to listen to people.
But, Jade, that's a pretty deep what you just said, because I think that is also, wow, it's funny. I don't know if you can tell I'm much more relaxed at this point, so thank you for that.
I know.
But this idea of nobody's listening, I think that was part of what shut me down, because I started to feel like, why the hell am I talking? I was playing in these bars with all this, the din of just like this cacophonous, like the last gig I played was like 10 years ago. And I mean, I was playing the gig with my head up to the ceiling, like, why am I here? This is so, like this idea that nobody's listening can really take your voice away, because you start to think, why am I even talking if nobody's listening? Why am I even singing? And the one place where it doesn't feel like that, or up until I met all of you wonderful people, was in these nursing homes or assisted living facilities. Because everybody, we were listening to each other. Like I wasn't performing. Like it. So yes, this idea of nobody listening can actually shut your voice down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about this too before the show. It's one of the things I try and do in these interviews. I have people tell me all the time they like my interviews. They think I'm good at it. It's not that I'm good at it. It's just that I let people speak and listen, and then take what you're saying and then use that I don't need questions. I don't need to sit here with a row of questions and formulate them, because a good interview is about conversations and seeing where they go and how much you trust each other. And it's the same with being a performer, yeah? You're trusting people with your soul. As an artist, you're singing your heart. And that's something you do beautifully.
Thank you.
Do you have trouble writing lyrics?
Mm.
Do they come do they come freely to you, lyrics? I should say.
Yes, because yes. However, yes, they do. When it's something that I know about, that I'm experiencing, I have trouble writing outside of myself, which is actually something that I would like to work on. Because yes, the lyrics come easily if it's just something that I'm thinking or something that I'm feeling. But when it comes to writing in a story that's outside of myself, it's a bit harder for me.
I think that's because your heart's so in it. I think, from my experience, and I love sharing these experiences that we have as artists, that when I was trapped inside another body and I felt stuck, I wrote so much about outside experiences that I knew nothing about. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as I let myself free, that's when I actually started writing songs that mattered and connected with people. Before that, they're all just stupid things. And like, I remember the first song I wrote in a metal band was called Ozone Death. Like, what the hell? What does the ozone
But it's important.
but still, like, I knew nothing about that stuff. You know what I mean? But as soon as I started writing about who I am and who people are and how people should be towards each other and just the interpersonalities that we're missing, it all come together. And I see that in you that the joy that you create music and your soul and your passion, that it seems like you do write inside stuff. And I love that.
My brother would tell you there's too much of her in her music. That's, yes.
No, there should be more.
Right?
Yeah. Because I think the beautiful thing is there's so much of you and we are all the same. So there's so much of everybody in this stuff. Again, why I opened the show today talking about anxiety and talking about, it's because, there's probably people who look at you and go, oh, God, I wish I could sing like that. It doesn't matter if you can sing like a goddamn angel from the heavens. We're all blood. We're all brains, and we all suffer the same demons.
Yes. Complexity.
Absolutely.
We are.
So you found this community, or it found you.
Yes.
How has your experience been, like turning up to these shows with these weirdos like Metalhead Hippie going boom all the time, and Clay, and you've got Thomas Christ and Pete Johns. You've got all these people playing your music. How's that been, like falling into this little love fest of YouTube weirdos?
It's addictive, first of all, but I mean, it has had a profound effect on me. Like I can't even, like, it has been just the most healing thing that I think has ever happened to me. Because, I mean, just to go back to that same thing, because I had lost that connection with music for so long, and I lost the belief entirely. So like coming into a space where people are listening and I'm listening, and it's a real back and forth conversation. I mean, it has been like, that sounds cheesy, but like coming home. It has been like finally feeling like, because I don't know if this sounds cheesy, but finally feeling like my voice matters, and feeling like other people's voices matter to me. Because so often we go through our lives and we meet people and we're having, like you said, we're having conversations, but there's no real exchange. And I feel like this community is a real exchange. Like it's real. Yeah.
Viv, I'm going to stick on the hard stuff. Do you think there's hope for us as a species of getting our shit together and actually being able to listen to each other and actually getting over the small stuff that we squabble over and this left and right shit and just black and white and not able to just understand each other? Do you think there's hope for us?
Yes. I mean, I think there has to be, even if we destroy this realm of existence, I think we are spirits that are evolving. So we may not do it in this on this planet. No. Eventually we'll get there, but there's a lot of healing that needs to take place and a lot of light that needs to be shined. And I think the 30 of us that are here are doing that. So there's hope.
50.
There's hope.
50.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
There should be 100,000.
Yes, but there's hope, but it's going to come from the place of like evolution. We need to evolve as like a spiritual consciousness, and it's kind of like there are these spikes of light. I mean, it's just the consciousness needs to be raised, and I think that's kind of what Frank Terzo is talking about when he sings New World. I mean, this is a new world, and we've got to push for that new world. That's the hope.
Yeah.
Frank Terzo is the hope.
He is, and he's another one who puts others first, away from music. You know, he's very big into his whole job is looking after people, caring for people, helping people get to the place they need to go to. It's a very noble position to be in, you know. And you yourself, you said you've been a nurse too. Yeah, I am right there. Or am I? What do I think that?
No. I mean, it's just the speech pathology, which is can be. It's like healthcare. Yeah.
But it is. But it's all that stuff. You know, it's listening to people. It's the most important thing. You know, so many people are so alone at the moment, and so many people are so lost, and they just. And I know people go, oh, but since the COVID thing all happened, it's just happened more and more. And it's like, no, the inconvenience that we had in 2020 just shone a brighter light on what's actually been under the darkness that we refuse to look at. And, you know, thankfully we have music because it's the one thing that does unite, you know. I remember playing a gig for severely handicapped people quite a few times. And, man, they were the best mosh pits I've ever played to.
Yes.
Because the joy on their little faces, running around, swinging their arms around, going absolutely nuts.
Yes.
you can't get better. You know, you go to play a normal gig and everyone stands there with their arms crossed expecting some kind of thing for their $10 that they're paid. And you go and play in front of a group of, you know, handicapped children and they're just like, it's the greatest thing of all time.
I guess.
So why I asked about do you think we have hope is it's going to segue into this song that I'm going to play now called Never Give Up. What is this song about, Viv?
Well, in the same way that music changes within us and we change our perspectives, I've been thinking, since I sent this song to you, I've been thinking about what it's about. And who knows what it was about when I first wrote it. But now what it takes on a different meaning. It's like this idea, I think there's this one line in particular in the song where I say, "You climbed from the valley and I dragged you back in." And it's like this idea that there are certain things that we're always going to reach for and try to attain, no matter how many times we kind of get knocked down or like pulled away from music, my voice, singing. I'm just always going to climb my way back. And, you know, like there are certain things that we are always going to strive for. And I think that's what this song sort of is about. And it was also produced by Paul Umbach, who I mentioned before. He's the guy that sort of hooked me up with the Ritchie Blackmore tour. But so he's an incredible musician and producer. So he did just a great job with that actual track. But yeah.
Let's do it.
Used to believe in forever, heavenly pain. I've been waiting so long. Can anybody hear the nighttime? This is my time. So why can't it be what I want it to be? In starshine, spilled from our glasses with I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Never really heard underneath all the stars there were cracks in the glasses. I wanna know, why can't it be what I want it to be? We never give up, thought we never give
when I grow up, I want to be Viv Sparro.
But I want to be you. We can switch.
Let's do Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
Let's make a pact. All right. Let's 2024. All right. We're doing it. Let's do a song together.
Yes.
We'll write it
Yes.
together. We'll write it from scratch.
Yes.
And we'll cover it on this show.
Yes.
You've heard it first here. Let's do it. No pressure. I know you've got lots of
Yes.
things going on at the moment, and and we'll do that. So, speaking of lots of things coming up, what do you have? Do you have your little stoker in the fire at the moment? And what can we expect for the future? What are some projects that you maybe have coming out, and where do you want to go with this going forward?
Well, should I talk about Naya?
We're gonna close with that. We'll talk about that.
Oh, okay. I'm hoping to do a ton of collaborations with as many of you as I can in the community. I know I sort of dropped the ball on a couple of things that I'm hoping to get back to. Cold Acre, but
It's all right. He's
Yeah.
a dork anyway.
but I've got a few like random irons in the fire. There's actually I don't know if we'll play it, but it's a song called Busted, and it was produced by a very good friend of mine called Joe DeGiorgi, and we've been working on an album for the past, well, it's not really an album, it's like an EP for the past, 10 years. So hopefully that we're going to kind of get back to work on that. And ultimately, I'll even show you guys this, well, before I show you, this idea that we are these sort of characters that as we go through our life, like we have to shed pieces of who we were and ourselves, and we have to put on sometimes we have to put on almost like robotic pieces to replace things that we've lost or have fallen away from us. And so this idea I have is that we are these bionic creatures. We've lost pieces of ourselves, but we've had to put ourselves back together with these parts that maybe, are not entirely what we started with. And so, yeah.
Broken toys.
And so this idea that I have is that, in a sense, I am this bionic bird, if you will. And so I've sort of like created this
Zoom in.
little, it's probably backwards, but
No, it's not. It's not.
bionic bird. And this idea of, creating an album that is just pieces of everything that I was sort of finally put together in one spot. That's what I'm sort of focused on is,
I'm really excited because I can see it, that there's been trauma and there's been turmoil for a little while, and it feels like you've crossed that bridge.
Yeah.
And you don't have anything on your shoulders at the moment. And I hope that continues, because I'm sure there's a lot of people here who've dealt with the same thing. No one can ever experience the exact same thing as what we go through, but we hopefully can empathize enough to know that there are sometimes, man, in life, things just, you can't get them off your back, and they weigh you down so much that you lose sight of what's going on. And I really hope you're able to continue and walk towards this light, because the world's a better place with you in it at your best.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you.
And
that was perfectly said. Perfectly said.
I'm going to ask you this one now. If you're on a desert island and you only had, apart from the soccer ball to talk to, you only had one album, what would that be?
Oh, God. Peter Gabriel. I don't know. So, Peter Gabriel.
Yeah. What is it
Yeah.
about Peter Gabriel? I love Peter Gabriel. He's so underrated.
Mercy Street, Sledgehammer. on the same album, need I say more? Like, you know, like it's that emotional spectrum of capability of the
A true artist
the ability.
too. Yeah. Not only
Yeah.
sees music and notes and melodies, but carries that through to video. It was one of the first who carried that through back in the MTV era.
Yeah.
And that's something you have to be these days. How are you going to go forward in this world of these days? You can't just be a great singer. You have to be able to do all these other bullshitty things that other people used to do, like create graphics, create album artwork, do your own marketing. How are you going to go in that field moving forward? Are you confident?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, me? Are you?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
Oh God. Oh gosh, Jade, it's not even that kind of. I don't know. I feel so far behind that kind of idea or concept doesn't seem like a reality. I mean, I think the way collaboration. I think it starts with our song, and yeah.
Because it's hard. We're in a day and age where people's attention spans are like goldfish. You can't deny that, you know. So it seems like it's not enough now to be amazing at your craft. There's got to be you've got to have. Well, marketing people seem to think you've got to have an image. You've got to have some kind of thing to live up to.
Yeah.
You know, and I still think that's a load of hogwash. I don't think so. I don't think you need that. I think that shifts units for a period of time, but eventually people find out there's nothing behind it, if there is actually nothing behind it.
Yeah, but you have what you're describing. Like, I don't know that I have it. You have, and it's kind of what I said earlier, you just have this like high skill level with various aspects of art, music, performing, acting. You've got it.
So do you. Well, thank you. But here's the thing. There's always room for improvement, isn't there? Like when you think you've nailed things when you go to school and you learn all these things, it never ends. Like I think that's the key.
Yeah, no, never ends.
Yeah.
Lifetime. Not to mention, and I'm sure we could have a separate conversation about this, how the voice is inside of your body. It's in here.
I want to know about
changes.
that. Yeah, I want to know about that.
Well,
tell me. Well, how do you look after your voice? How do you maintain it? What are the things that? How do you know when it's not working right? Your health. All these things are important. Tell us.
I mean, I still study. I mean, like I vocalize every day. I'm constantly working on my voice and, you know, the colors and the placement and making sure that I'm fine. And look, singing has never been, I wasn't an effortless singer. There was only one thing that I knew I could do, and it was that I could bring emotion to the song. Like that was the thing that came easy. But in terms of like learning how to sing, I mean, that's still happening. That's still a thing. I'm not like, so I still work on achieving, I was just looking at some of the books I have, like achieving that as close to perfection as you can get, and that freedom in all the different dynamics and colors and shades of voice that are possible within the instrument. And then you throw on top of that the fact that we're aging, you know, like my body is not what it was when I sang Diamonds in Rust. Like everything has changed. My pharyngeal shape has changed. Like I hear it. It's like everything has shifted. I used to sing like it was kind of like a laser beam, you know. It's different. It's different. So it's a constant balance and evolution, and then the struggle with our own emotions. And if you're highly sensitive, highly emotional, that's why I talk about how yoga is really important, like just the movement and awareness of body and breath, because without it, like it just gets all stuck in your throat. So yeah.
And you talked about
Long answer.
You talked about red light fright. I love that you called
Yes.
it that because people call it red light fever, and I never think that's a good term because, like, I don't know, that sounds like Saturday night fever, and I don't see the red light and go, no, that doesn't happen. But red light fright is perfect because that's really hard too. Like, not only do you have to be, you got to care about yourself. Like, when I was teaching vocals, I had this mother lose her shit at me, bring her child to singing lessons. It was about 5 weeks in, and she brought her child on the 5th week, and before the kid came in for lessons, she went, "I've got a problem with you, and I just want to clear the air. You've been telling my child to eat properly." And I'm like, yeah. And I go, what's the problem? And she goes, "I don't like, I'm not paying you to tell my child how to eat." I go, "I didn't tell your child what to eat. I told your child to make sure they look after themselves and sleep well and eat well and drink plenty of water because you are a fucking living instrument." Right?
Yes.
And there's already going to be enough shit going around your head as you get older that is going to cripple you. And so these simple things will help being a musician because trust me, you're going to get to 40 years old and lose an octave. And then you'll cry your eyes out going, "But I could do 5 octaves." But if you're eating better and you're looking after yourselves, and I know it's hard because the music industry is a very vile place at times. So, I think, you're right. Meditation, these things, because people forget. They just see you as a vocalist and you're just a singer. But no, you are a living instrument and everything affects you.
Right. And just to go back to something we touched on earlier, like your voice is a completely affected by what you're feeling. So like, yes, it's so much affected by what is going on in your life at the moment. So as balanced as you can be, like you said, eating right and taking care of yourself and self-care. Why am I still holding onto this whistle? It's inside of you.
And red light fright is a thing, and that's really hard too because I get your opinion on this. To sing is to emote and feel all these things, and that is the way you connect. And even if it's like grunge, like Kurt Cobain did it, I mean, he felt, and his voice wasn't always perfect, but there was pain, and you felt it, and that's what is the key. And it's really hard with red light fright because the light comes on, and you're like, instantly, I've got to do this right now, and you lose the sense of, I've got to connect,
Yeah.
So what can you give to people as a suggestion to help them get through red light fright and actually be more emotive with their songs?
It's called a record for a reason. It's a record of what you sound like right now. This does not define you. So if you can get past the fear and just be what you are in this moment, it's just a record. You 2 years from now, you could do something that blows it out of the water. Let yourself, and I tell this to myself too. This is not me like giving some sort of advice. I mean, this is something that we all have to practice. Just allowing yourself to be who you are now.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing you can do.
Good advice. And when you release that record, trust me, you go on tour and start playing it. What you recorded will not be the same within a month. You'll be singing it completely different, playing it completely different. It's because you find out, oh, hang on, it actually sounds better this way. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. Well, this week on The Rant, I'm talking about perfection because it don't exist.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for it, guess what? I can save you the trouble now. Go look for something else. Like some joy in your life. Go play a video game because perfection is not around.
But I would say perfection exists in the sense that if you have achieved truth in your delivery and authenticity and you have conveyed the emotion exactly how it was meant to be conveyed, that's perfection. Everything else is just some sort of standard that we don't even we can't even loosely define. We have ideas of what perfection is. Sure, Ella Fitzgerald is perfect, yes, but how does that relate to me? You know, like, so there is no such thing as perfect in that sense. So yeah, like you said, just forget all that and just try to connect to the message.
Just be. You can't go wrong with telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know, there is no, and I'm not talking about the crazy truth that you see on the internet these days. Like, I know the truth. Trust me, the government, you know, they're conspiring against us, even though they can't fix the pothole outside my road. But anyway,
Right.
it's not happening, folks. They're too busy lining their pockets to be involved in conspiracies, trust me. Let's play Busted, and we'll come back. We'll talk about it after it. And then we got to wrap up, folks. I know it's gone a little bit longer today, so thank you for hanging out. I mean, still 45 people. You guys rock. But we're going to play Busted, and Joe's leaving us. See you, Joe, if you're leaving us. But we're going to play something special to close, something that's never been heard. It's a world premiere, and you guys are going to love it. I was lucky enough to master this thing, and dude, so I think did I mix this or not? I can't remember.
I think you did a little bit. Yeah,
I think a little bit.
You tweaked it. Yeah.
I did some tweaking. All right, so we're going to go at something that's going to blow your minds. But let's play Busted, and we'll come back and talk about it in a sec. Let's do it right now.
I was so young and so wrong, trying to chase after someone so lost in the dark, scraping skin off my knees like a child at your feet. Busted and blue against the autumn skies, I remember you, your wild diamond eyes against a black canvas sky. The heat of your body set the stars on fire. I thought it was true, and somehow I got lost in loving you. Oh, I caught the words on the tip of your tongue, and I kissed you for hours in that old beat-up truck. Yeah, I caught the words on the tip of your tongue, and I kissed you for hours like you were the one. Oh, and I'm wasted. I'll keep drinking. I'd rather stay drunk all my life, so drunk I can't play when I can't get you out of my mind. Tonight,
So I have a massive list of female artists that I just love. Fiona Apple, Regina Spektor, Björk. There's a lot of them. They're all really unique, and you are in that mix of artists. There's just some artists. They're all female, of course. It's very rare a male hits me in the feels, but yeah, beautiful stuff. Absolutely beautiful stuff. So how did that song come up? I'm speechless. You've done. It's hard to shut me the fuck up.
Jade, I mean, thank you so much. If if you knew how much of a star I think you are. Like,
It's only because I
thank
changed
you.
my name. It's only because I changed my name.
No, it's far beyond that.
Do you know what? Before you do, you know why I changed my name to Starr? Because I thought back in 2003 when I transitioned, nobody was ever going to listen to my music ever again. So at least I could live remembering what I used to be. That's real. Anyway, tell us about this
Beautiful.
song.
I've heard you talk about this before, how like every once in a while you write a song that just, or I paraphrase, and I don't want to, say that you said this, but I'll just say it like this. Every once in a while you write a song that you feel like that just said exactly what I needed to say. Like that embodied exactly everything that I'm feeling, thinking. That song, like if I never actually write another song, that at least I wrote that one. That's kind of how I feel. It was super healing, and I mean it still is. Yeah, it's just that kind of song for me.
Yeah, it's an amazing song. All right, I'm going to hit you with the last question, then we're going to hit everyone with. If you were going to give advice to somebody who was starting music, when would you say is the best time for them to start?
It just goes along with everything that we've been talking about and everything that I'm telling myself lately, which is that try to do it from a start when you feel like you want to start, and do it from a place of love for what you're doing. Try not to censor what you're doing. Try to keep the voices out of the voices that you think people are, how they're going to respond to it. Try not to think too much about that. Don't write or perform from a place of trying to gain some kind of approval. Just and like I said, I'm telling myself this at the same time right now. Just push your own boundaries and do things that scare the heck out of you, like go on this interview with Jade and and just don't be afraid of cracking. Don't be afraid of sounding. It's a record, and I don't sound like I sounded 10 years ago, and I don't sound like I'm gonna sound 10 years from now. But the one thing I know is that I'm always going to sing until my last breath in and my last breath out, and try to do it from a place of love and light, and try not to worry about how it's going to be received. That maybe is the advice I would
Probably the
give.
best answer we've had for that question ever out of 121 interviews. It deserves a round of applause, that one. I'm all for that. All right, so let's talk about this. So many of you in the community may know this little thing that's happening. There's Russ 8889 has this wonderful project happening for kids with cancer, and it's a charity album. He's been putting it together for a little while now, and you may have thought, hey, what's going on with that thing? I haven't heard much about it. Well, let me report to you, we're at a stage where the songs have all been collated, and over the next week they will be all uploaded, ready to go. And this thing is going ahead, and we're at the point now where we're converting things to MP3s. These songs are going to be played throughout hospitals. This is a huge undertaking that Russ has put himself in. Now, every day I call Russ on this show an absolute but he's not the C word, right? Now, don't tell anyone this. He's actually one of the biggest-hearted people on this goddamn planet. And this thing is coming together. And you put together a song for this, and with Naya. And I was lucky enough to do some mixing and some mastering for it. And we today are going to play the video clip for it. You won't see this anywhere else until the project comes out. It will not be dropped anywhere. And I encourage anybody who's submitted a song, please don't take this as, oh, well, this has been played, I can release my thing now. Don't. Hold on to it. We're just doing something very special to get you all hyped up about this album, and because we've got Viv on the show and it's a super special occasion. So tell us about how this song came about with Naya, please.
This is a song that was written several years ago that essentially just got lost in the back of my closet somewhere. I don't know. I had forgot about it. I wasn't thinking about it. And then I came into the group SWA and I met all of these incredible people. And Naya, I mean,
Goddess.
yes, goddess, perfect word. I was like, oh, I think I have a song and it would be amazing if she would sing, like a duet with me on it, even though I had previously recorded it. But so I sent it to her and she said yes. And it's just, she will say this is not the case, but I still maintain the song was waiting for her and it was waiting for you, Jade, to master it and just to have your energy on it and her energy. And yeah, she's just amazing. Her voice is just amazing. So this is called Make It Last. And yeah.
Two of my favorite artists coming together. I think most of you know how much I love Naya. I think she's not only an incredible artist, but very inspirational with, her health and all that. And she just continues to blow me away with her originality. I put her up there with a Björk. She's just, there's never be another Naya. That she's got her own, that's it. That's Naya.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle for her. It's beyond her music. It's just like the way, even just like the things she writes. I mean, just she is just pure art. Absolutely.
So we're going to go out with this today, yeah. And I want to thank you all for being here. I see Metalhead Hippies joined us last. Boom. So thanks for joining us, Jeff. We love you. Let me just cover a bit of housekeeping before we get out of here. I just want to tell you guys some things that are happening on the channel, and then we'll say our final goodbyes. Yes, tomorrow I have a show coming up here, which is our new Saturday show, or Friday for you guys, which is, can I do it? The update, where I take a look at apps that I may have missed during this week and things on the Apple scene that I didn't really get to. So that's happening tomorrow, episode 2 of that. Then, for something really fun, hopefully you can join me on the opening hour this week. I'm going to step right outside of my comfort zone, and I'm doing a tribute to Grease 2.
Wow.
And I'm going to sing every song from the Grease 2 movie. Very underrated movie. I didn't know Michelle Pfeiffer could sing so hot. She's awesome. So we're going to do that. And then, speaking of some of the stuff we've been talking about this week, if you want to join me for the rant this week, you're going to love it. It is on perfectly imperfect perfection. So we're going to talk about perfection, and we're going to talk about the unnecessary things we put on each other, and self-care, and, all these kind of things. And I'm going to rant about my journey with it and how some things I've done. And I'm going to ask you about how do you do these things, yeah? Because it's interactive. It's not all about me. You know what I'm saying? So, Viv, I want to thank you so very much for coming on the show and getting over the fear of coming on, because I'm a scary person.
Jade, this was a profound step for me in terms of thank you. This means so much to me. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for all the beautiful music, because, as I said, every day now when I wake up, I know what I'm listening to get me through the day. So if you missed it and you missed the opening song today, go back and watch it. And just, there are no words. All right. Thank you all for being here in the audience. You guys rock. You've made this show fantastic. And, of course, I have to thank... I have to thank our sponsor for today, DistroKid, who you can see up here. DistroKid, you can sign up with the guys, get your music out, use my link, get 7% off your first year. It helps me, it helps you. Get your music out, yeah? They're a fantastic company, and I just feel so blessed that they continue to support me. So thank you, DistroKid. I'm able to do these amazing shows. This is Make It Last by Viv Sparro and Naya Medved. You are going to love it. Russ's album that is coming out sometime late November. It should be happening, guys. Let's do this. Thank you, Viv. Love to you. Please stay on the line so we can chat afterwards and I'll come back to you. Love to you all in the audience. Have a great day. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together.
Warm nights, driving in the car. All the time we spent not going very far. I always had some money, and Andy would buy the beer. We'd get drunk on the hood down at the pier. All night playing our guitars. We always thought one day we'd be stars. And when we had the money, oh well, we'd get out of here. All the time we spent dreaming on the pier. He'd always count the songs in way too fast, so I'd play them slow just to make it last. Till the sky lights up just like the 4th of July, and my heart was on fire. Bars, same old songs, they treat us like we're stars. And we still have each other, so I guess you could say we are just like we dreamed down on the pier. He still counts the songs in way too fast, so I play them slow just to make it last. Till the sky lights up another 4th of July, and my heart is on fire.
We'll all rise together, 'cause you make me shine better.